Brilliant. Right, question 3 asks us to sketch this graph. Sketch the curve y equals 1 plus x, 2 minus x, and 3 plus x, giving the coordinates of all the points of intersection with the axes. Well, in some ways we could treat this as just being a join the dots exercise. We're doing y equals 1 plus x, 2 minus x, 3 plus x. Well, it did say showing the points of intersection with all the axes. Well, the first thing is, if this is equal to 0, what values of x make each of these brackets equal to 0? Easy enough thing to answer to start with. X being minus 1 would make that one 0, so let's do a mark at minus 1. X being 2 would make that bracket 0, so let's do a little mark at x equals 2. And x being minus 3 would make that one 0. So there we go, we've got those 3 points. Now faced with that, and the fact that if we multiply this out it would be an x cubed graph, we've actually only got 2 choices now, haven't we? The graph has to either go, can't do it on there, has to either go like that, in a smoother way, or it needs to do that upside down. Like that. Oh, that was nice timing. It has to do one of those 2 things. And all that depends on is where it crosses the y-axis. If x were equal to 0, we would have 1 times 2 times 3, which is plus 6. So it crosses this axis at the point 6. And if we join the dots, then it's clear that it must be the second one that I drew here. That's the only way we can join these dots satisfactorily. Now this is going to be dreadful, because I can't do it on this graphics tablet thing. Here we go. Oh no. Okay, it's not that bad. So it would look like that. The other thing to confirm this to us is if we were to multiply out these brackets, let's think about what the coefficient of x cubed would be. And if we were to multiply that out, this whole thing would start with a minus x cubed, wouldn't it? You'd have x times minus x times x. So you'd have the first value, the ax cubed, would be minus 1. So that would make it that kind of shape. As x gets bigger, it's going to get more negative. But I think the joining the dots idea is probably the best way to go with this. Once you've got your 3 points of intersection, then there's only one curve that it can be when we put it all together. 3 marks. Now, describe the transformation that transforms the graph we've just drawn to this graph here. 1 minus x, 2 plus x, 3 minus x. Well, it's a kind of spot the difference thing. What has happened to get from that graph to that graph? We've got some new minus signs. So has it all been multiplied by minus 1? First thing to think. Well, it hasn't, has it? Because it's only the x terms that have changed their signs. The number terms haven't changed their signs at all. So I don't think it has been multiplied by minus 1. What else could have happened? Well, it looks to me like the only difference is that where we had x here, we've replaced x with minus x. Can you see that? Every time you did have x, we've got minus x instead. And that's one of the things that we've just written down. That's the f of minus x type function. We've gone from f of x to f of minus x. In fact, thinking about it, think about what would change to our graph here. Instead of crossing at minus 3, minus 1 and 2, it would cross at plus 1, minus 2 and plus 3. And it would still be equal to 6 if x was 0. It would be that graph, but completely reflected in the y-axis. So that's what we need to write. Reflection in the y-axis, or the line x equals 0. There we go. Okay? And that's it. And that's maths. Still recording.